What's up, folks? It's your boy Locke, and we're back again to talk about this topic. But before I get into all of it, I just want to share the channel direction and where we are now, and almost like a reflection. And I've been doing monologues as well as vlogs, and I enjoy doing both, so they'll both still be around. But what I really like about monologues is I can go on and talk about what I enjoy talking about, which is health and fitness, and it's uninterrupted. Whereas vlogs is more about sharing my life and sharing what I'm doing. So I'll definitely be continuing both, but I think there's gonna be a little more monologues, but I'll put two different types of playlists, and then we'll figure it out from there, because usually most channels will either stick to vlogs or stick to monologues or whatever the type of video they are, and they don't really combine both. But anyway, I want to get into today's topic. And today's topic is actually inspired by Dave Hollers. Dave Hollers, shout out to you. Thanks for liking, commenting, watching my videos. And yeah, it's on what functions of your sports are the most relevant to running, but also overall health. Is it worth spending a lot of money to get as many functions as possible on a sports watch? And are there any specific healthmaxxing apps out there that you particularly like? So I'm gonna just get into the term healthmaxxing real quick. And all it simply just means is how can we maximize our health gains throughout our life? And really quickly, I'm gonna explain the difference between health span and lifespan, because it's really important to distinguish between the two. So lifespan is how long you live. So let's say you get told now that you will live till you're 80. Your health span is how well or how good your quality of life is during your lifespan. So someone could have the same lifespan as, so let's say person A and person B have the same lifespan, but person A only has a health span till 60, whereas person B has a health span till 80. That essentially means for 20 years, person A doesn't live a very good life, i.e. they're bedbound, or they might struggle with independence through not being able to walk well, or they can't eat, they can't exercise. Their quality of life is not good. Whereas person B's, their quality of life is brilliant. And the idea is that you want your health span to be as close to your lifespan as possible. So you essentially don't die from a progressive decline, but you just rapidly die like this, which is probably most ideal, to be honest. It's probably least painful for not only yourself, but everyone around you. So yeah, now that we've gotten that out of the way, healthmaxxing will include both aspects. So not only improving and increasing your lifespan, but also your health span. So let's talk about the first part of the question. So what functions of sports watches are most relevant to running, but also overall health? Now, from my experience, as well as from what I've researched, so far, the most important metric you need to know is your VO2 max, which is the amount of oxygen you can uptake. And usually that is measured by, hang on, I'm gonna try and remember my science here, physiology. It is measured through milliliters per kilo of body weight per minute. So how much oxygen you can intake per minute through milliliters. And the correlation shows, research shows that there's a very high correlation between how high your VO2 max is and how long you'll live, as well as how well you live. So how do we increase our VO2 max? But before we even talk about increasing our VO2 max, what function of the sports watch? So the heart rate monitor. The heart rate monitor is really good at measuring our heart rate, and there's also quite a few studies to show that Apple Watch, Garmin, Coros, these watches are actually pretty close to what you would get if you were to just use a chest strap. So I would highly recommend wearing a watch when you exercise and wearing a smartwatch as often as possible. So I wear mine pretty much 24/7. When I'm sleeping, when I'm awake, so long as it's not charging. And I usually don't charge it for super long. As long as it hits 100%, I immediately wear it, regardless of what I'm doing. So even if I'm studying, if I'm working, and that gives you a much more accurate measure of your resting heart rate, which is also an important metric, but more importantly is it measures your VO2 max. And we can also talk about heart rate variability later on, but that's maybe something for another time, because the question is what function, and the function is VO2 max. So your heart rate monitor, very, very important. So I would definitely recommend getting a smartwatch for most people. And I'm not familiar with Android, but for Apple, there's the Health app, and honestly, it tracks a lot of metrics. So yeah. Now, the second part of the question is it worth spending a lot of money to get as many functions as possible on a sports watch? Generally, the more the merrier. I mean, the saying goes. There's a lot of other stuff you can look into. Like, I'm not even familiar with this, like blood oxygen levels, oxygen saturate. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but there's a lot of metrics that can be used. Now, in my opinion, is it necessary? Not really. The most important thing is gonna be a good heart rate monitor. And so long as you use a watch that has a good heart rate monitor, I'd say that's really all you really need. Now, if you're someone who has health issues, I believe the Apple Watch has all these other functions like telling you when you're not breathing well and when you're asleep, etc., etc. But I think blood pressure too. But for most of you, you probably don't need it. So I'd say just spend whatever is necessary. Now, obviously some people do ultra marathons and whatnot, then you're gonna want a watch that's got a better GPS, maybe it's got cellular data, etc. But for most people, a simple Apple Watch series, the simple Garmin, I think the Venue it was, or even the Phoenix, Phoenix is the higher end, they're all really good already. So I think that's all you need. Now, are there any specific healthmaxx apps out there that you particularly like? So this is a brilliant question. I've not tried everything on the market, but a friend of mine actually recommended this app called Stress Watch, which I really love. And I did the trial for, I think it was a week trial, and loved it. So I paid for the lifetime one, which was only 200 something Hong Kong dollars. So that's about, I think, 30 USD. And the metrics I can track are brilliant. But the main reason why I got it was initially because it tells me what my stress levels are. And that's based on what we call your heart rate variability, which simply just means what is the range between each successive heartbeat, which is a little confusing, but I'm not gonna explain it in this video because it took me a while to truly understand how to explain it, and even then, I still struggle with it. So I would just highly recommend looking it up on Google, but the higher the number, the better. So now obviously people start to compare each other's HRV, goes, well, mine's much higher. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You need to compare it to your own HRV. So let's say your heart rate variability is 100 milliseconds, and let's say that's been the same for about a week, and then suddenly, on the 8th day, it dips to 60 for the whole day. That probably means you're a little stressed, and that's where this app's brilliant because it tells you exactly when your HRV dips. And when I get that message, it usually very highly correlates with how I'm feeling at the moment, which is either stressed, anxious, tired, whatnot, something negative. Whereas when my score is high, like for example right now, when it's great, yeah, it does correlate quite well. And funnily enough, let me show you. So if you look at my HRV trend right now, you can see throughout the day, it's generally been pretty good, except there was one point, which is red, and that was when I was playing chess. So there you go, that makes sense. Chess is a stressful game to play. So I would highly recommend using this app even just for this function alone. But if we actually look deeper into it, I think this is the brilliant part of the app, and it's here. This is where it tells you your biological age. So I am currently 31, turning 32 in 3 months, but it says my biological age is 20.4. So that's 11.3 years younger. Now, obviously one can argue, oh, how accurate is that? It's just an estimate, blah, blah, your metric. You're using a smartwatch is not super accurate. Yes, but it gives you a general guideline. And what are the influencing factors? Well, they're all right here. So if we take a look, you can see all these metrics here, right? Sleep duration, consistency, zone 1 to 5 training, strength training, daily steps, VO2 max, resting heart rate, and body fat percentage. And as you can see, for me, VO2 max has decreased my biological age by a significant amount. It takes up a big part. So getting back to the question, I would recommend this app. I've not tried out other ones, but I think this is the one, all you need, and give it a try. So Bar answering this question, I want to talk a little more about how y'all can start health maxing right now. And the first thing I would say is sleep. I mentioned this in the last video, but before you get anything done, before you exercise, before any of that, get your sleep down. I did not do that for, I think the last time I genuinely had good sleep and a proper sleep cycle was the end of primary school. In middle school, I used to stay up very late. And sure, I'd wake up at the same time every day, but I was sleeping maybe only 5 or 6 hours. So I got really lucky with genetics being tall, you know. I'm 6 foot, but I didn't sleep well. And honestly, if I slept well, I probably would have functioned a lot better. And I am someone with ADHD, and ADHDers are known to not function very well when they don't sleep well. So not an excuse. I fully accept that I wasn't responsible for my sleep. And to be honest, I wasn't for a solid close to 20 years. And it's only until I kept getting sick for the last 3 or 4, no, maybe longer than that, 5 years, bar COVID, which was funny because we got more rest, we wore masks, we're more hygienic. So I actually didn't get sick during those 3 years. And in Hong Kong, everyone wore masks, so I was quite lucky. But after COVID, I got sick pretty much every 3-4 months. And every year I would get sick at least 3 or 4 times. And I think the worst was 2 years ago when I was fighting, because I was losing weight, I was training really hard. I was getting sick pretty much almost every 2 months, if not every 1 month. So the one thing I learned was that I was under recovering a lot. And the main thing you should be doing to maximize your health right now, absolutely right now, is to sleep better. And now obviously some people will go, yeah, well, you're very lucky because you can fall asleep and you never struggled with sleep. Yeah, I am very fortunate in that sense that more or less most nights I will just fall asleep within 20 minutes. And yeah, I'm not sure what advice to give to those who really struggle with falling asleep, because I'm not licensed to, I'm not a sleep doctor, I'm not licensed to talk about this, but that's exactly what I'm trying to say is, if you are struggling with sleep, you've got to speak to a sleep specialist right now. And a lot of people go, yeah, well, it's really expensive. Well, would you rather spend and invest money into, you know, learning more about your sleep and hopefully improving your sleep, or chronically still be in sleep debt, feel like crap every morning, so you end up spending money on coffee, spend money on drugs to keep you awake? More often than not, sleep actually solves a lot of problems, and plenty of research has shown that too. Chronic depression, pain, aches, and whatnot. And I do risk sounding out of line here, so I would highly recommend speaking to, you know, a specialist, a health doctor, whatnot about this. But sleep is going to be the first thing you're going to have to deal with. And some people go, well, I've already done everything I can for sleep and I still can't fall asleep. Yeah, well, my guess is you can probably go even further. Get, you know, down into the deep-rooted issues. What is it that is causing you to not be able to sleep? Is it anxiety? Is it stress? And if that's the case, well, you will have to deal with those things. And unfortunately for some people, it's unavoidable. Family stress, relationship stress, work stress. The only thing I can try and tell you is to minimize it as much as possible. But unfortunately, if you have you're in a circumstance where you can't do that, you can only do your best. And that's to maximize your sleep hygiene as well. So maybe try and get off your phone 2 hours before bed. Try to not eat 3-4 hours prior to bed. There's many things you can try and do to really maximize your ability to sleep better. But yeah, I think I'm starting to get really long-winded here, but I want to echo my point again. Get your sleep sorted. That's the first step to health maxing. And I'm obviously going to talk a lot more about other ways, but for now, get your sleep down. If you don't sleep well, you're going to struggle to do anything else. And yeah, I definitely went off on a tangent there, but I hope that answers your question, Dave. and I appreciate you sending it in. And I definitely ad-libbed for another 10 minutes, but I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all thought this was insightful. If y'all wanna ask more questions so I can answer next time on the next video, please feel free to write it down, comment, tell me what you agree with, what you disagree with, what more thoughts do you want. But for now, I'm gonna take off, so peace.